Thanks for checking out Scotty's Hobbies. Today we're going to be replacing a PCV valve on this here 2007 Honda Accord. But this will be the same, if not very similar, to many makes and models with the K24A engine set up in the vehicle. Later on in the video, I'll mention some of those makes and models, but as you can see, I'm already getting started and I don't want to waste anybody's time, so here we go. To get this PCV valve off, first I'm going to use a pair of long locking needle nose pliers. If I had my 45-degree set that locks, I would have used those, but I couldn't find them. I made this locking pliers myself, so it might be kind of hard to find it, but go ahead and remove the hose clamp right there on the PCV valve. PCV valve is right above the alternator. These locking pliers make it a lot easier to remove this. I could grab the hose clamp, lock on, and pull it back. You want to pull the hose clamp about 1.5 inches to 2 inches back off that PCV valve. Make sure you have enough room to get the hose off and you're not trying to fight it holding the PCV valve or onto the PCV valve. Some of you might wonder why you should replace the PCV valve, and these things can cause a lot of issues if they're going bad, such as like rough idles, weird engine misfires, lean codes or rich codes. These things, when they go bad, there's never like one symptom where he's like, oh yeah, go replace the PCV valve and this is going to fix it. These things, it's keep up on them. I do mine or replace mine a little excessively, but you always want a good PCV valve because they could give you some really weird drivability symptoms. I'm using some straight spark plug wire pliers to remove this hose, and that's just being a little excessive, but you could just wiggle the hose around and pull it straight off. It wasn't too hard, and it usually is not too hard. I'm going to use a 17mm 6-point deep socket to remove the PCV valve. I was going to use a 6-inch extension originally, but that just seemed to wiggle around a little bit, so I took that off, and I still had plenty of room to get this one off. You can see this one took a little bit of oomph to get it off. When I install a new one, we make sure we properly torque it down to factory specifications, or factory torque specifications, I should say. And that's going to be 33 foot-pounds on this here PCV valve. When I removed the PCV valve, there was a little O-ring or a gasket right here. You can see an aluminum gasket. When I purchased the PCV valve from a local auto supply shop, they did not have any PCV valves that had that gasket. So I went down to a local hardware store and matched one up. You can see right here, and it seemed to work out just fine. I'll do my best to find the PCV valve, a gasket, and the hose, and put links in the description below so you could purchase those and try to get you the best deal I can. If your hose looks bad at all, go ahead and replace it. Get the molded hose. Don't try to route one yourself or get a universal hose and put it on there. It won't look as good. It'll look really tacky. And just, you need the factory one for better flow, I believe. Tighten the PCV valve down as tight as you can with your fingers, and then go ahead and grab your torque wrench, a 3/8 drive torque wrench, and a 17mm deep socket, preferably a 6-point. I always like to use a 6-point if I can. And we're going to torque this PCV valve down to 33 foot-pounds. We never really went over what the PCV valve does. And the PCV valve, what it does is it recirculates the emissions that get built up in your oil system and the valve cover and everything, so such as blow-by, that used to be just released into the atmosphere, and HCs and emissions get released in the atmosphere. So the PCV valve, it needs a breather. The breather is connected to your intake system. During like lower speeds, your vacuum is really high, your PCV valve will open up, and that will let the oil system circulate the vapors and fumes back into your intake system and be burnt through the combustion process and out the tailpipe and through the catalytic converter and being cleaned up and all that good stuff. That's just a quick overview of it. Make sure you look it up, do some research on it. But this PCV valve was pretty quick. Don't forget to put your hose clamp back on there. You can see I got it on right at the end of this video. Hopefully this video does help you out. If it does, make sure you comment below with the year, make, and model vehicle that this video did help you with. And also, make sure you check out my other videos. I have a ton of other videos on this vehicle. The tune-up, brakes, air filter, cabin air filter, and the emissions locations, and a couple more, I think. So check out Scotty's Hobbies library. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next hopefully helpful video.